So, in preparation for this homily, I was just kind of thinking this past week of just all those instances in which, our belief that it truly is the body, blood, and soul and divinity that we receive at the Eucharist, how that kind of affected my week, and just all those events in my life, all those instances that pointed to this profound teaching of our Catholic faith and how it kind of affects a lot of things. So this past weekend, I was on vacation and I was down in St. Louis, and I got to visit just two of my best friends from college who are now married and have two kids, a 3-year-old Liesel and a 1-year-old Louis. And so these are my friends, Margaret and Nathan. And it was kind of interesting when I was there. On two separate occasions, they kind of soundboarded something that they had been contemplating about just taking their kids to Mass. And what they really shared with me was that just this kind of struggle and bringing their 3-year-old and 1-year-old to Mass, the difficulty that was, and more so just emphasizing how it was harder for them to kind of really enter into the sacrifice of the Mass. And what they kind of threw my way is like, would it be okay if, maybe once a month, one of us took the two kids to Mass and one of us went separately so we could enter into the Mass? And I think I said basically responded like, yeah, I think that's perfectly okay. Obviously, that idea of being together as a family, and that this family thing is an important thing to emphasize. And I think, if you're doing that most of the time, that's good too. But I also kind of highlighted that the importance of, regardless of, maybe the kids were really bad, maybe Lisa was just going crazy and you weren't paying much attention. What our faith teaches us is that regardless of how out of it or how much you're really feeling it in that Mass, that you really do receive our Lord, body, blood, soul, and divinity, regardless. Later that weekend, my friend Margaret, her grandfather, his name is Duke, he's been in kind of this nursing care facility for 6 weeks, and he was a daily communicant his whole life. And so the family asked me, could I say Mass in the nursing facility for them? And I was like, yeah, of course. No, I'd be glad to. And it was this very beautiful thing, too. It was so appreciated, the way Duke, after the Mass, he was just so appreciative. It was as if I saved his life almost, He was just so in debt, to just me saying that Mass, and his family was just so happy that I was able to do it. And so another instance that came up too was I was at this group of this talk of young couples just speaking about the challenges of living out their Catholic faith. And again, that theme of just the difficulty of bringing the kids to Mass came up, but that they're faithful and they do it every single week, regardless of the trials that happen. And as I was driving back Friday night, a little bit late, at 11 o'clock, there's constantly cars outside our parking lot because there's people, witnessing or going to Eucharistic adoration. And yesterday, Father Jeff Filipski and Father Grant got ordained, and it was this long, beautiful Mass, 2 hours and 20 minutes. It was absolutely just beautiful. And I think just all these instances, this compounding of instances just speaks to just the vital importance of this great mystery that our Eucharist is not simply a symbol, but we receive Jesus, we receive him body, blood, soul, and divinity. And to emphasize that more, just how central it is to the expression of our faith, I want to walk through my week if it truly was just a symbol. If I believed that the Eucharist was a symbol, I'll show you how my week would have been different. First off, the advice I would have given to my friends asking about how to deal with the kids, I'd be like, actually, you know what, that's a lot of work. No reason to go to Mass, maybe listen to some great eloquent preacher just speak into the gospel. But you know what, actually, that's just too much work, not worth taking your kids to Mass. When it came to doing that Mass for Duke, first of all, I don't think he would have asked. And second of all, if he did, I probably would have been like, no, I'm on vacation, Why would I want to spend, one of my vacation days kind of doing work, When it came to, there wouldn't be any cars in the parking lot on that Friday evening. And that 2-hour Mass for that ordination of Father Jeff and Grant, man, that would have been just super, super long. And today, it's hard to say if I would have become a priest. It's hard to say that I would sacrifice my 20s to spend it studying, to become a priest, and probably this morning to be out golfing. But the reality is that we believe this truly is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord, that we take Jesus at his word when he says, "This is my body, this is my blood." And it changes everything. It changes everything. It changed my life. It changes people's life. And we become these tabernacles of God. We actually receive God into us, and it transforms us. And it just changes the trajectory of our lives. It allows us to grow deeper in virtue and grace. And it changes everything. And so today we just ask the Lord to help deepen our faith in the Eucharist, to help deepen our love for our Lord in the Eucharist. And we ask just for some of us who are struggling with this, this great mystery, to help deepen our faith and to see that God truly is giving himself body, blood, soul, and divinity today. Lord, help us to grow in greater love of you in the Eucharist.